From here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in.
Welcome, family. We're here with the first ever verified DB Teach tape, and this is really about breaking down film for all my young up and coming cornerbacks and safety who are in high school or even in college. A lot of times people break down the physical part of the game. You see your favorite athletes doing footwork drills, but we want to talk about the mental part of the game. We want to break down the Teach tape for those who are aspiring to be great corners and great safeties at the next level. You have to get in the film room and study tape. It's going to show you where you went wrong and show you where you need to make those corrections. So with the first ever video, we have to start with our man Derek Stingley. Got to start with our man Derek Stingley Jr., the top rated cornerback coming into the 2021 season, college football season. And let's check out his tape real quick. Now, the first thing I encourage all young DBs to do when they stepping on the field is to understand your position of power. That's the first thing. You got to understand football is mental. It's not physical at the end of the day, especially when you're at the college level. Most people are great athletes, but it's more mental than physical. And so right here, as you see in this teach tape, the first thing we have to see and understand as a DB is your position of power. So with Derek Stingley right here, as you can see, he is playing outside leverage on this. He's playing outside leverage and he's trying to force any route to the inside where he has an All-American Grandel pit waiting. So let's break this down. Now, first off the rip, you can see Derek Stingley does a great job, which I encourage all young DBs to do, in staying square and shuffling. A lot of DBs like to open up their hips and turn and run. A lot of DBs like to just run straight to the receiver. But it's important that you work on staying square. And that's one of the main keys in this video when you watch Derek Stingley. Even when he goes wrong, it's because he didn't stay square or he opened up the gate. So off rip, he did a great job of staying square. However, right here he went wrong. And why did he go wrong? He went wrong because he got tricked out of his position. Remember, I told you the first key to playing DB is mental, knowing your positions of power. You have to know that you have outside leverage. You cannot give up an outside route. If you want to find a quick way on the bench or a quick way on the field, you have to do your job. As great as Derek Stingley is, he unfortunately gave up his outside position and he got tricked out of his position. Never get tricked out of your position as a young DB. That's the first rule. No matter how athletic you are, that's a quick way to end up getting beat. So as you can see, Derek Stingley ends up giving up his outside leverage. Now he gets beat on an outside corner route, which is really unacceptable right here. Then to add to that, he unfortunately gets beat, misses the tackle, and the rest is history. So now we have Derek Stingley lined up inside the red zone. And as you can see, the positions of power has changed. Derek Stingley is now in an inside leverage position. I love Derek Stingley's stance. He's one of the few DBs, in my opinion, who actually get down in a stance. All you young DBs, make sure you work on your stance. That's very important when you're talking about moving your hips side to side. A lot of DBs who are too cool for school, meaning they're walking around before the play. They're lazy with their stance. They're more worried about how they look. They're trying to look like NFL corners instead of working on their technique. So as you can see right here, Derek Stingley's locked in. He's inside position now because you're in the red zone. So in the red zone, you want to force the long throw or the long fade route using the outside, using the sideline as your leverage. So right here, again, my man Derek Stingley does a great job. He's one of the more patient corners in college football to be such a young corner. Patient. Now he opens up the gate a little bit, but one thing he does, he makes sure he gets hands on man. He makes sure he gets to that inside hip. Make sure you force the catching point. So he gets there, he tightens up, and this is a major key that a lot of DBs never talk about, and that's looking outside in. You want to look to your outside, then work your way back in. A lot of DBs, and you're going to see later in this film, a couple times Derek Stingley works inside out. And why that's important, because it's a better location. You're better at tracking the ball when you work outside in. You have a better angle at where the wide receiver is looking. So that's very important. tracks outside in, locates the ball, forces the receiver to attempt to make a difficult catch. And Kalijah Lipscomb's a veteran receiver. I believe he got picked up in the NFL draft somewhere, but a veteran receiver in his own right. But great job. He ends up dropping the ball. Now, here we have Derek Stingley versus one of, probably the top wide receivers coming out in next year's draft, and Devante Smith, a 5-star recruit, a guy who probably is going to run a 4.3 in his own right. And this is where technique really comes into play for a lot of DBs. You have to play with great technique, and it's the little things that matter when you're going against a receiver that's on your skill level. Derek Stingley is highly skilled, but he's going against a receiver right now that's on his skill level. So let's look at the technique. Great job right here, Derek Stingley, inching back. But what do I talk about all the time, family? You have to get hands on man. A lot of DBs get up here. Let's take it back a little bit. A lot of DBs get up here and don't put hands on man. If you're going to be in jam position, you have to put hands on man. And that starts with staying square and not opening up the gate. Derek Stingley opens up the gate. Now what you're in run mode. So now, basically, Devante Smith is pretty much running on air. He's controlling you. Now, this is what I talked about last time. You want to look outside in. You want to look his way first, then back inside. It helps you better track the ball because right now, Derek Stingley, the ball is in a blind spot. He can't really see the ball right now. Devante Smith has a better angle at the ball because he's a little bit to his side. That's why you want to look towards the receiver first, then back inside. And as you can see, now he goes inside out. By that time, the ball is already there. Let's play that back and look at it one more time. He looks inside out, can't track the ball. Ball's already there. But that starts again at the line of scrimmage when we talk about making sure you don't open up the gate. Making sure you don't open up the gate. And this is what I mean. I noticed that a lot of high school a lot of high school DBs, they tend to open up the gate in high school because this is something you can get away with. Now, this is an old clip of Judy versus Trajan Bandy. I believe Trajan Bandy plays for Miami. I don't know if he graduated, but this is an old clip. And this is what I mean by opening up your gate. A lot of high school DBs like to do this kind of fake jam that we didn't do when I was growing up, but this fake jam, and then they go right to opening up the gate. So right here, where he goes wrong, first of all, you're going against an elite receiver in Judy, the best route runner in college football last year. I think he'll be one of the top route runners in the NFL. The first thing he do, noticing his feet, he never gets his hand on man. He's up there jamming, but he never gets his hand on man. Then to compound that, he immediately opens up the gate to a guy like Judy, who has probably some of the quickest reflexes that I've ever seen in a receiver. And this is going to cost him. Because right now you're allowing a guy like Judy to run this route on air. The whole route, he never touches him. Now, a guy like Judy, you're never going to react as fast as Judy, especially where he knows where he's going. So that's very important. Stop opening up the gate for my young DBs. On it one more time. As you can see, line of scrimmage. Footwork, he's not even square. He's off balance. And then his first step, he panics. Now it's open up the gate. Now you got a guy who's running a 4-4. You're in panic mode. You never touching the whole time. He's running that on air. You got to make sure you stay square and get your hands on guys like these guys who are quick twitch, because you're never going to beat them to the punch. He's already a quick twitch receiver. He's already knows where he's going. You don't. So you got to control him. You got to do something to throw off his rhythm and his route. Now we have Judy versus AJ Terrell. We all know AJ Terrell, future first-round pick to the Atlanta Falcons. Judy to the Denver Broncos. This is best on best right here. This is the high school clip. Notice my young high school guys. You got to stay square. AJ Terrell does a great job of staying square, a little bit on his back heel. We got to work that inch back a little bit more. He does a great job of staying square. However, when you're going against a great receiver like Judy, you have to be a technician at the line. Notice how he stays square, decent, but he opens up that right leg. He invites him right here. With a guy like Judy, they study that type of stuff, and they're so quick they pick up on any weakness. So he opens up the gates and invite him a little bit. Now he never gets hands on this guy. Never gets hands on Judy. even though he was in a jam position. Now it's game over. Because with a guy like Judy, you're allowing him to run on air. Now it's over. Now it's over. Guys, you cannot open up the gate. You have to get hands on man, stay square, and get hands on man. That's the only way you're going to win against these elite receivers who are big, strong, and fast. And this is what I mean at the college level, going back to Derek Stingley. When he opens up the gate, you're in trouble. No matter how much of an elite athlete you are, when you open up the gate, you are in trouble. So again, versus Devante Smith, this is the game this year in Tuscaloosa. Uh, a game that he really struggled in, but like I say, it's because of technique. It's not because he lacks the talent. And you got to remember he's a freshman as well. But the same things you do in high school, you can't do here. As you can see, beautiful patience, inch back. But however, he needs to stay square and slide to the man and get hands on Devante Smith. Never gets hands on him. He just opens up the gate and allows him to run. Now it's a foot race at this point. Now at this point, you just got to get to the hip. He starts to reaching and grabbing. It's game over. This is why technique matters. It's key. So this is three things I want you to take from this. First of all, I want all DBs to understand their positions of power when they step up. Understand your positions of power. And what I mean by that is understanding your leverage before the game, understanding where your safety and where your help is. Never get beat to a place where you don't have any help. Never get beat to a place where you don't have any help. Secondly, guys, I want you to remember, if you're coming up in a jam position, get your hands on the man. You're not up there to look pretty. You're not up there to intimidate the guy. You're up there to get your hands on him. And that starts by you staying square and shuffling to the receiver. Don't open up the gate. And last but not least, the little keys I want you guys to work on when you're doing one-on-ones out there on the field. Make sure you work outside in. Outside in, meaning you're looking towards the receiver when you're looking back for the ball, and then you're working your way in. We live in an era where quarterbacks they've become masters at back shoulder passes. The only way to counter that is to look towards the receiver, then look back in. But like I said, that's today's video, the first ever teach tape of Verified DB. If you like this tape, let me get 50 likes on this video and we'll do a part 2 on Derek Stingley. Again, this is not a shot at Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley is a terrific corner, but I wanted to show some of the high school kids there are things he can clean up. And it's scary actually, because he can actually be better next year, and he will be better next year. So shout out to Derek Stingley Jr. I'm gonna put some more teach tapes on Derek Stingley and other DBs. Some DBs down below you want me to do a teach tape on. But until next time, family, I appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon. Make sure you do that and comment below. Until next time, I'm out. Verified DBs, you already know what it is.